Good morning and welcome to the Economic Week Ahead brought to you by Business Day. My name is Eniola Olatunji and with me is my colleague
Wasil Ali.
Oh, welcome. This is our first Economic Week Ahead for the year 2025 and we are excited to bring to you everything that will be going on this week economically across the globe, in Nigeria, everywhere across the globe generally.
Yeah.
And starting today, the Debt Management Office would be auctioning the FGN bonds worth 450 billion naira. Now it will be reopening its 5-year and 7-year bonds, which are worth 100 billion and 150 billion naira respectively. And it will be opening a new bond for January that's worth 200 billion naira. And I think that is one of the biggest amount, the largest amount of bond I've seen the DMO auction in recent times. Towards the end of last year, they were offering less than 200, way less than this amount. And I think it's a great start of the year.
Yeah.
This year, we expect that locally, the federal government is going to borrow about 9 trillion naira locally. And about 2 trillion of that would go to maybe the domestic dollar bond. So when it comes to the treasury bills and bonds, whether FGN bonds or savings bond, we expect that the federal government will borrow about 7 trillion naira. So
I think the government will be borrowing that much to finance the budget this year.
Yes.
Because the federal government has a budget of an expenditure of 47.9 trillion naira,
Yes.
which means that we have to borrow to service that budget.
Yes, and we of recent Business Day did an article showing like our debt service, and year after year our debt service has continued to grow.
It's growing. It's expansive now. And you're like the budget seeks to service. There's debt servicing for about 16 trillion naira.
Yeah.
For this budget, which means that a good number of capital to be used for infrastructural development will be used to service that. But so away from DMO now, the Central Bank of Nigeria will on Tuesday, tomorrow, unveil the FX code, launch its FX code. The FX code, that's foreign exchange code, is a way of enhancing transparency in the Nigerian market segment. And so far, under the leadership of Governor Olayemi Cardoso, there have been a lot of reforms to ensure that there's efficiency, there's transparency in the FX market. And all of these measures have brought a relative calmness to the market and stability to our exchange rate. We're still going to talk about the Naira and exchange rate later on, but for sure, beyond FX code, the central bank has also in December introduced the electronic foreign exchange matching system (FMS) to do almost the same thing that this FX code will be doing. But I think this FX code would just give a more precise guidelines to dealers in the FX market, and I think this will also give will close the gap between the official and parallel markets.
Yeah.
Moving forward.
So away from Nigeria, on Wednesday, the U.S. Fed will be meeting to make decisions about its interest rate. Now in December,
we started interest rate this year now.
Yes, we have started interest rate.
Journey to interest rates.
Yeah. So in December, the U.S. Fed cuts rates. But now the rate is around the region of 4.25% to 4.50%. So their analysts are projecting that Fed is likely going to hold rate, even though our newly elected U.S. president has said that he's going to make sure that the U.S. cuts rates. But to be fair, most of these decisions is taken from economic data such as inflation, unemployment, farm payroll. And last week, the US inflation rate increased to 2.9% from 2.7%. So while the Fed might want, or the president might think that, it is time to cut rates, I think that the growing inflation number might signify, or is signifying, that they should hold rates. At least it's just the start of the year.
Yeah, I think for me, the most I don't want to use, but the most practical way forward is to hold rates, because I mean, when inflation is rising, the best bet is to hold rates or increase it. So, but for an advanced economy like the US, and the fact that the inflation target of the US is still within 2%, so 2.9%, yeah, maybe a bit high, but still within the range. So I think what the Fed would do is to hold rate, see how things will unfold, especially now that we now have a pro-dollar, a pro-strong dollar Trump.
Very pro-strong dollar Trump.
So we'll look at what will happen moving forward,
but
and we'll keep our audience updated
and also
on that.
Every monetary policy committee or every central bank across the world are independent of the president. They have
independent body.
They are independent body. So I believe that the Fed will be able to make their own decision irrespective of what Trump thinks is right. On Thursday, the US will also be releasing its GDP report in the third quarter for the fourth quarter of 2024. In the third quarter of 2024, the GDP increased to 2.8%, but this was still very much below 3.1% that was projected for that quarter. And the IMF has also projected that the GDP is expected to grow by 2.7% in 2025, and this is based on carryover from last year, and also a robust labor market and accelerating investment, among other signs of strength. Actually, this looks like it's going to be America's year because of Trump. A lot of Trump policies on tariffs, on trade, on drill.
That mantra. That's I think that's the mantra of the year.
Yes, drill. Yeah, and that's it about the US, and we're back to Nigeria to discuss our favorite topic.
Before we go back to Nigeria, I think one of the reasons why we've not been able to know whether Nigeria will also be releasing its GDP report is because we've been able to access the MBS website, despite the fact that it was on the day inflation report was released.
Yes, the site is currently working. Like if you Google MBS, it will come up. But before, there was a calendar of how things will happen.
Yes.
Now there's no calendar. There's no you can't even access like old reports. Now we just get notifications from like their
Twitter handle.
So we can't really tell when this reports will come. So but they are dropping the reports. But you get the notifications from their Twitter handle.
Well, let's come back to what Naira has been printing, because lately, I think from December.
Since December, the Naira. See, all of our prayers throughout 2024 yielded good results at the end of the year.
Yeah, I think you told me you were going to.
We prayed. We were always saying
crossover night about the Naira.
Yes, we hoped, and the Naira has been doing us proud since December, almost 2 months, since the first week of December down till now. The Naira hasn't crossed 1,600. I don't even think it has gone so close to 1,600.
No, I think the highest was 1,570 thereabouts. So for today now we have 1,531 thereabout. That was what it was on Friday. So the Naira has, well, the point is that nobody is thinking that the Naira would crash down to 400 Naira or 300 Naira, or what it was 2-3 years ago. But what businesses and corporates want is that let's know predictability.
Yes, less volatility.
Less volatility. So we'll be able to predict what the exchange rate will print, and it will inform decision making, right? So there's no swings, up swings, and all of that was
happening earlier during the year.
Later, I mean, last year.
Sure. And then this is as a result of some of like you mentioned earlier, the FMs.
Yes.
It has really
just reforms.
Yes, it has called for so much transparency in the FX market. And we've seen the yield, and it's just a very happy time for manufacturers, for companies. Like on a panel last week, on a panel with PwC and Business Day, BOA CEO was saying that earlier during the year they could not even plan that they could have plan A, plan 1 to plan 10, plan A to plan Z, and because of how volatile the exchange rate was, none of them will pull through. But now you can plan. You can have a margin from 1,500 to 1,600.
Yeah.
And you can make solid plans with these figures. And it has not moved. See, I'm waiting for a report by Bloomberg or anybody to say that Naira has been the best performing in 2 months, because I don't think anybody can beat us at that.
Yeah. It's been the best performing currency. Well, let's wait for the
let's
report.
wait for the report or something.
let's not imagine.
Yeah.
So, but in a nutshell, I think what needs to be done to ensure that this momentum is sustained is to ensure that we have more inflows beyond transparency, beyond the CBN's interventions, and all of that. Yeah. I think we need more dollar inflows. Then we need to ramp up our oil production, because that is where we see about 90% of our FX earnings. And so we also need to ensure that we look at structural deficiencies that could limit or hinder our ability to drive in more dollar inflows.
Yeah.
I think with that, we would have this period, this moment, last for long.
Yes, we definitely will.
So that will be it for today. For more in-depth analysis on our stories, you can log into our website at www.businessday.ng, or follow us on all our social media platform at businessng. That will be it for today. My name still remains Wasiu Ali.
And I am Eniola Olatunji. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.